One of the questions that I'm asked all of the time as a sales mentor and trainer is, James, how do I close prospects and move them forward from being potentials into actuals? Of course, there is a skill in being able to engage and close in the right way. But I talk to my customers a lot about how the majority of objections happen because you have not qualified the opportunity clearly enough. There are lots and lots of great models that you can use to help you qualify the prospects that you have. But in this video, I'm going to share with you a model that I think works really well and is a great way for you to start building sales, success, and additional skills by qualifying your prospects using the BANT process. Let's take a look at the video and see how we can use BANT to get you better sales results. So when you engage with a new prospect for the first time, one of the key things you've got to do is to be able to qualify them to see if they're a fit to work with your business. And this is one of the areas that I see so many small businesses fail to do effectively. When you qualify a prospect through the questions that you ask, you give yourself a better chance of A, seeing if you can work with them in the future, but B, being in a position where you then don't get further down the sales process and find there are barriers that get in the way of you making the sale. Many of those barriers can be addressed if you qualify effectively at the start of the process. And I've always said to my clients that there are different models. There's CHAMP, there's GPCT, but I really like the model BANT as a way of being able to help you qualify your prospects effectively. Let's talk through BANT and what that model is and how you can use some of these questions to get the better sales results. The first element around BANT is budget. And we all know that budget is a key requirement for any customer, potential customer that you're looking to work with. The first thing many people will always ask is, what is it going to cost me? Or what's the price of this? And as I've said before in other videos, it's generally never the price, but it's the value that they associate with the service that you provide. But if you qualify effectively using some of the questions we've outlined here related to budget, it can help you ensure that you don't waste time trying to engage with a prospect that really has no interest in engaging with you and spending the money on your service. So what are some of the questions you can ask them in order to be able to clarify the budget situation? Maybe ask the question, has a budget been set aside for this? Or how much is this problem costing you? So that you can focus not just on the cost, but on the potential return that it can give the prospect. Or how do you typically get approval to spend your budget? Questions like these are simple questions that you can ask to be able to get into the mind of the prospect and find out what's really happening. Is money there to be able to move forward with your project, or is this something they're going to have to then go and get from another source? And one of the difficult sometimes questions to ask is there a budget set aside and how much is that? And I always say to my customers to be able to ask questions such as, typically in a project of this nature, the budget ranges from this to this. How does that fit with your plans? And those type of questions enable you to really understand what the prospect thinks to that sort of figure and whether that can meet with their budget plans and expectations. Qualify effectively around budget and it's going to save you a huge amount of heartache further down the line. The next key element, which is really essential in your qualification process, relates to authority. At the end of the day, in business, there are decision makers and there are influencers. Ultimately, it's the decision makers who sign the forms and make sure that money gets into your bank account. But the challenge so many times for prospects and companies that I work with is that they fail to really clarify who's involved in making that decision. I was with a client the other day who felt that the person they were presented with was the director and therefore the ideal person to make the decision. But when they probed a bit further, they found that it had to still go to a board who then made a final decision. So always be able to ask the question as to where that authority lies. Some of the questions you can ask include, is there anyone else involved in the decision-making process in addition to yourself? Or can ask, who sets the budget for these type of programs? Or what does the decision-making process look like at your organisation? How does that work? Asking those questions really helps you identify who's going to be key to making the decision so that you can engage with those people, make sure you have the right relationships in place to get the decision that you want. One final tip that I always say to my clients as well is don't be in a position to say to someone, are you the decision maker? Because people will invariably say yes, because they feel like they want to look important. If you feel that there could be someone else involved, just say to them, apart from yourself, is anyone else involved in making this decision? Which then enables them to be able to show their importance, but also involve other people if they do have to go up through a hierarchy in order to get the decision. Focus on authority, who's going to make the decision around the project or service that you offer, and try and understand what's key for them in making that decision. Do that, and I can assure you it's going to give you a massive help when it comes to then being able to move your project from being a potential into a reality. The third aspect that I talk a lot about in my videos and with my customers is around the need or the problem or the want that the customer has. In the BANT model, it's need, but we all know it's the want or the problem that the prospect you're working with has. And if you really can't understand that and get under the skin of your prospect and find out what's causing them to want to do this, it's going to delay potential business for you going forward. So questions around the need you can ask are, what are your main priorities at the moment? Or how long has this been a problem for you? Or how much are these issues costing you in terms of time and effort? And the responses that you get back from your prospects will give you an insight into how big a challenge this is for them. If this is a pain they really want to get solved and it's really affecting what they do as a business, the chances are they're going to want to make a decision quite quickly. But if it's something that's maybe just an issue that's been on their mind, it's 10% of their daily life and it's not major concern, be prepared for a long wait in your sales process or for them to delay and delay until they really feel it's right for them. Focus on the need or, as we talked about before, the want or the problem, and it's going to help you identify what your prospect really wants and help you then deliver a service that can meet that need and get them on board as a customer. The final element around the BANT process is the time and the timing it's going to relate in terms of the decision for your project or service. Once again, so many prospects engage. I've been there myself. I've made the mistake where I've engaged with a prospect over a period of time, built a great relationship, agreed they've got a budget, agreed they were the decision maker, and then found out that actually they weren't even going to do anything until the end of next year. Frustrating when that happens. You commit lots of time and you want that time to be valuable over the course of the next 2 to 3 months, and the prospect's got other ideas. So maybe look at some questions that you can ask to be able to clarify the timescales that your prospect's working with. Questions such as, what kind of time frame are we looking at here to get this problem resolved? Or what has made you look into this now? Or what has prevented you from fixing this before? So look at the elements that are involved in the prospect's mind around the timing of the project. What's causing them to actually want to do this now? What's making them think this can wait for a period of time? And I always believe the time is very well linked with the need and the problem. If it's a pressing problem, they're going to want to act upon it quite quickly. So there are 4 areas under the BANT process: budget, authority, need and timing, that I think you can use effectively with the questions that you ask in order to really assess where your prospects are. If you can ask the questions in the right way, using the right tone. Remember in my videos in the past, I've talked about how tone is really important. A question such as, what is the budget for this project, will be received differently to a, can you tell me what is the budget for this project? The way you engage and approach your prospects will make a big difference. But if you can use the questions that I've outlined here and the outline around the BANT approach, you're going to stand a far better chance of getting sales results. On my website, I have a questions sheet that you can download. Just go to www.jameswhite.business with a list of around 40 odd questions that you can use to be able to ask your prospects around the budget, the authority, the need and time they have. And I can assure you, if you use those questions, investigate what's going on in the prospect's mind and really get to understand them and who they are, you're going to stand a far better chance of getting the sales results that you want. My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert, and I've loved sharing some of my tips and thoughts with you on how you can get better sales results. Thanks for watching, and if you love the video, please subscribe to the channel. You subscribe at the link below, or if you'd like to share it and recommend it with friends, that'll be fantastic. If I can help you in any way get better sales results, please let me know, but I look forward to sharing more videos and thoughts with you really soon.